Sasori's 100 puppet army. This is one of the most terrifying displays of mass destruction ever witnessed. To unleash this technique, Sasori unfurls a massive scroll, and suddenly the battlefield transforms into his personal theater. 100 puppets emerge simultaneously, each connected to his core through invisible chakra threads. What makes this technique absolutely devastating isn't just the numbers, it's the precision. Each puppet operates like an extension of Sasori's will, moving with deadly synchronization that would make any military commander weep with envy. The genius lies in the details. Every puppet comes equipped with poison-coated weapons, razor-sharp blades, in short, an arsenal of deadly tools. We're talking about a small army where each soldier is already dead, feels no pain, and carries enough poison to wipe out dozens of people. Let's get real about the damage potential here. This technique can blanket an area roughly 100-200 meters in radius. Each puppet essentially functions as a chunin, meaning Sasori is effectively commanding 100 warriors simultaneously. Imagine facing an enemy where cutting down one opponent means absolutely nothing because there are 99 more coming at you. Traditional battle tactics become useless when your opponent can attack from 100 different angles while remaining safely out of reach. It was this very puppet army that earned Sasori the title Sasori of the Red Sand. He wiped out an entire nation with these puppets, and the blood spilled stained the sand red. So yeah, the destructive power here is undeniable. The Chiyo vs. Sasori fight perfectly showcased this technique's terror. When Chiyo brought out her 10 masterpiece puppets against Sasori's 100, it created one of the most intense puppet battles in the series. The sheer spectacle of puppet warfare at that scale was unprecedented, and frankly, it took everything Chiyo and Sakura had just to survive the onslaught. Just a moment, the channel has officially reached 10,000 subscribers, a memorable milestone on this journey. But this is just the beginning. The next goal: let's reach 25K subs together. A big thank you to all the fans who have stuck with us from the start. You helped the channel grow and built an amazing anime community. And welcome to all the new friends joining us. We hope you find interesting videos, fun moments, and enjoy the journey ahead. Let's take the channel even further. If you like the content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to help us reach the next milestone. Next, let's go to Kieran. What happens when someone weaponizes actual lightning? Sasuke's Kieran answers that question in the most spectacular way. This is nature itself turned into a weapon of mass destruction. Here's where Kieran gets absolutely wild. Sasuke literally summons real thunder from storm clouds. First, he uses fire release techniques to superheat the air, creating massive storm clouds above the battlefield. Then, he guides that natural lightning down with his lightning release chakra, turning Mother Nature into his personal artillery strike. What makes this technique absolutely terrifying is the speed. We're talking about genuine lightning here. There's no dodging this attack, you have to tank it. And never doubt the raw power behind natural lightning. It has enough energy to level mountains and turn fortresses into smoking craters. Let's talk numbers. Kieran can obliterate everything within a 50-100 meter radius, leaving behind nothing but a massive crater and memories. When Sasuke unleashed this against Itachi, it completely erased the Uchiha's hideout from existence. The explosion was so massive, it could be seen from miles away, with the lightning bolt itself resembling a mythical dragon descending from heaven. But here's the catch. Kieran is basically a one-shot wonder. You need perfect weather conditions, massive chakra investment, and ideal timing. Miss your chance, and you're stuck waiting for another storm. It's the ultimate high-risk, high-reward technique. The Itachi fight showcased everything beautiful and terrifying about Kieran. Even though Itachi survived thanks to Susano, the sheer spectacle of that lightning dragon tearing through the sky remains one of Naruto's most iconic moments. Ten-Tails clones. The Ten-Tails clones represent perhaps the most overwhelming display of mass destruction through sheer numbers in the entire Naruto universe. These aren't just regular summons. They're literally pieces of the Ten-Tails itself, spawned directly from the god tree or the beast's own body. No hand signs needed, no chakra cost to worry about. Obito and Madara could just will these things into existence like some kind of demonic production factory. Each clone carries a fragment of the Ten-Tails' power, making them individually stronger than most average ninja. And the scale. We're talking about hundreds of these creatures flooding the battlefield simultaneously. They are capable of leveling buildings and tearing through squads of experienced shinobi. Defeating one barely makes a dent in their numbers. The destructive potential here is mind-blowing. These clones can blanket entire kilometers of battlefield, turning organized military formations into complete chaos. The Fourth Shinobi World War showed us what happens when you unleash this technique. Thousands of allied ninja suddenly found themselves fighting for their lives against an unstoppable tide. Paper Ocean! Let's talk about one of the most insane jutsu in Naruto history, Conan's Paper Ocean. We're talking about a woman who literally prepared 600 billion explosive tags and turned them into a massive death trap that could erase entire cities from existence. The concept is brilliantly simple, yet terrifyingly effective. Conan spreads billions of explosive paper tags across a massive area. We're talking about a radius that could easily cover half a kilometer or more. When activated, these tags create a continuous chain of explosions lasting a full 10 minutes. That's sustained, relentless destruction that gives opponents absolutely no breathing room. The scale of it is absolutely massive. This isn't a jutsu you pull out on a whim. Conan spent years preparing this trap specifically for Obito, showing incredible foresight and dedication. Each individual explosive tag might seem small, but when you multiply that by 600 billion, you're looking at destructive power that rivals natural disasters. The tactical brilliance here is undeniable. Against someone like Obito with his Kamui ability, traditional attacks would be useless. But Paper Ocean creates an inescapable zone of constant explosions. Even if you can phase through individual attacks, how do you escape when the entire battlefield becomes a continuous explosive nightmare? Shinra Tensei. Now, we're talking about gravitational manipulation so insane that it can erase entire villages from existence in a single moment. The beauty of Shinra Tensei lies in its terrifying simplicity. Pain channels chakra through his diva path, creating massive gravitational waves that push everything away from him. When Pain decided to show Konoha what real power looked like, he unleashed the ultimate Shinra Tensei. The entire village, every building, every street, every landmark, got flattened in seconds. We're talking about a 2-3 kilometer radius of complete annihilation, creating a massive crater where one of the most powerful ninja villages used to stand. It's like dropping a small nuke, except it's powered by pure chakra and divine arrogance. The moment Pain stood above the crater that used to be Konoha, arms spread like some vengeful god, remains one of the most chilling scenes in anime history. It perfectly captured the Akatsuki's philosophy that overwhelming power is the only path to peace. Chebbaku Tensei. Here's where things get absolutely ridiculous. Chebbaku Tensei, the technique that makes you question everything you thought you knew about gravity and physics. We're talking about a jutsu that doesn't just destroy things. It creates entire celestial bodies to trap your enemies. The concept is mind-blowing in its simplicity. You create a small black core of pure gravitational chakra, toss it into the sky, and watch as it pulls everything. Dirt, rocks, trees, buildings, entire landscapes, into a massive floating sphere. Pain's version could create mini-moons 100-meter wide, which is already insane. But then you have the 6 paths version used by Naruto and Sasuke that literally created our actual moon to seal away Kaguya. So, in Naruto, The moon is basically a massive prison created by this jutsu thousands of years ago. When Hagoromo and Hamura first used Six Paths Chebbaku Tensei to seal the Tentales, they permanently changed the night sky for every living being on Earth. And it becomes the ultimate sealing technique that can contain beings powerful enough to destroy entire dimensions. The moment when Naruto broke free from Pain's Chebbaku Tensei using Ninetales' power was epic. But nothing compared to watching Naruto and Sasuke casually create a new moon to deal with Kaguya. That's the kind of power scaling that makes you realize these characters have transcended normal ninja abilities entirely. C0. This is art in its purest, most destructive form. C0 represents Deidara ultimate philosophy. True art is a single moment of explosive perfection. The mechanics are as brilliant as they are horrifying. Deidara literally transforms his entire body into one massive bomb by releasing concentrated chakra from his chest core, mixing it with his specialized explosive clay. There's no hand signs, no preparation time. Very simple. While other ninja need complex setups, Deidara just needs to accept death. The chakra explosion originates from within his body, creating a chain reaction that turns every cell into explosive material. It's both genius and completely unhinged. Let's put this in perspective. C0 creates a blast radius of 10 kilometers. We're talking about wiping entire towns off the map, leaving nothing but a massive crater where life once existed. The explosion generates enough heat and force to level mountains and vaporize forests in seconds. The energy release is so intense it can be seen from incredible distances. The C0 scene in the Itachi Pursuit arc remains one of Naruto's most visually stunning and emotionally intense moments. When Deidara activates the technique, the entire sky lights up like a second sun. Sasuke's escape using Manda and his Sharingan abilities doesn't diminish the impact. If anything, it shows just how ridiculously overpowered C0 really is. It took perfect timing, a giant snake summon, and teleportation techniques just to barely survive. Most opponents wouldn't have those options. Tengai Shinsi. You know what's absolutely terrifying? Looking up at the sky and seeing a massive meteor heading straight for you. That's exactly what Madara's Tengai Shinsi delivers. Pure, unavoidable destruction falling from the heavens. The mechanics behind Tengai Shinsi are as simple as they are horrifying. Madara literally pulls meteors from outer space or the upper atmosphere and hurls them at his enemies. No complex hand signs, no lengthy preparation, just raw gravitational manipulation on a cosmic scale. See, while other ninja throw kunai or fire jutsu, Madara throws actual meteors. And here's the kicker. He can drop multiple meteors back to back, just in case the first one wasn't enough. Let's talk numbers here. Each meteor covers a 1-2 kilometer radius, but that's just the immediate impact zone. The shockwaves, debris, and secondary explosions extend far beyond that. When Madara drops 2 meteors consecutively, we're looking at 3 to 5 kilometers of complete annihilation. The force of impact equals dozens of megatons of TNT. Imagine being a regular ninja in that Alliance army, looking up and seeing death literally falling from the sky. Not angels, just pure doom. There's no running from a meteor, no hiding, no clever jutsu that's going to save you. Even if some survive, they're dealing with the psychological trauma of facing an opponent who can casually drop space rocks on command. Madara essentially tells thousands of ninja that their lives mean so little, he'll reshape the entire battlefield to eliminate them. Watching Onoki's face when he realizes there's a second meteor perfectly captures the hopelessness of facing this technique. Even with Gaara's sand manipulation and Onoki's particle style working together, they barely managed to stop the devastation. Father-son Rosengon. You know what hits harder than a regular Rasengan? A super big Rasengan powered by Nine Tails chakra, thrown by father and son working in perfect sync. Minato and Naruto, both in tailed beast mode, channel massive amounts of Nine Tails chakra into creating an oversized Rasengan. The technique requires absolute trust and coordination between two people who share the same chakra signature. And look, this Rasengan they create, it's as massive as Kurama himself, basically the size of a mountain. And remember, a basic Rasengan, barely the size of a soccer ball, already packs an insane punch. It's all about tightly compressed, spiraling chakra after all. So this version, it can punch through defenses that regular Jutsu can't even scratch. It was specifically meant to be used against Obito. Unfortunately, Obito's god-tier defenses were able to counter it. But hey, do you know what inspired the Rasengan's creation in the first place? Another technique with massive, wide-scale destructive power, Susano. You're facing an Uchiha in battle, and suddenly they're surrounded by a massive glowing warrior that towers over buildings. That's Susano, and you're probably about to have a very bad day. Susano is pure Mangekyo Sharingan magic at its finest. The user channels their chakra into creating this massive humanoid entity that acts as both ultimate armor and devastating weapon. What starts as a skeletal frame can evolve into a complete warrior, and in Madara's case, something that rivals actual mountains in size. The evolution is incredible to watch. First comes the rib cage, basic protection. Then the skeletal structure adds arms for offense. Finally, the complete Susano emerges with armor, weapons, and enough raw power to reshape landscapes. Regular Susano can level forests and fortresses within a 100-meter radius, but perfect Susano operates on a completely different scale. How? The Fourth Shinobi World War gave us the most jaw-dropping Susano displays in the series. Watching Madara's perfect Susano casually slice through multiple mountains perfectly captures the technique's overwhelming nature. But let's not forget Itachi's Susano moment against Orochimaru. The Totsuka blade, sealing one of the legendary Sannin, instantly showed that Susano isn't just about brute force. It's about mythical weapons that can end fights in ways regular jutsu simply can't. Susano represents everything intimidating about Uchiha power. It's protection, offense, and pure intimidation rolled into one technique that literally makes its user look like a war god. When someone can summon their own personal kaiju, you know you're not in a regular ninja fight anymore. Tailed Beast Bomb. The mechanics behind this jutsu are both simple and brilliant. The user, whether it's a tailed beast or a Jinchuriki like Naruto, compresses chakra in a specific 2:8 ratio of positive and negative energy. What makes this technique absolutely terrifying is its raw destructive potential. The chakra concentration here is insanely intense. While Rasengan creates a swirling effect, the chakra from the tailed beasts is so densely packed that it causes a massive explosion. We're talking about explosions that can level entire mountains, create craters the size of small cities, and basically redraw the map wherever it hits. The blast radius can stretch for kilometers, and anything caught in that zone is simply gone. Therefore, after Naruto infused Senjutsu chakra into the tailed beast bomb, this technique became capable of breaking through Naruto's truth-seeking orb's defensive barrier, Senpo Mokutan, Shin Susenju. It's basically Hashirama saying, "I'm done playing around," and summoning a wooden Buddha statue that makes mountains look small. The technique itself is pure genius in its simplicity. Hashirama combines his legendary wood release with Sage Mode chakra to create this colossal Buddha figure, complete with thousands of arms that can move independently. Think of it as having an entire army at your fingertips, except each soldier is a massive wooden arm capable of crushing anything in its path. The chakra requirements are absolutely insane. Only someone with Hashirama's ridiculous chakra reserves and perfect Sage Mode control could even attempt this. What makes this jutsu terrifying isn't just its size, though the statue itself towers hundreds of meters high. It's the sheer destructive potential. We're talking about something that can flatten mountains, level entire forests, and create craters that reshape landscapes. When Hashirama used this against Madara's perfect Susanoo-clad Ninetales, it wasn't even a fair fight. Thousands of wooden fists raining down simultaneously? That's like bringing a nuclear arsenal to a sword fight. That's exactly what happened in the Valley of the End, creating one of the most iconic moments in Naruto history and cementing Hashirama's reputation as the god of shinobi. Indra Arrow. Indra's arrow is basically him saying, "I'm going to end this right here, right now," and channeling the power of all nine-tailed beasts into one absolutely ridiculous arrow. It's Sasuke throwing everything he's got into what might be the most over-the-top finishing move in anime history. So how does it work? Sasuke uses his perfect Susanoo as a container, gathers chakra from every single tailed beast, combines it with his six paths power, and forms this massive lightning arrow that's basically a weapon of mass destruction. The amount of chakra control needed here is mind-blowing. We're talking about managing the energy of 9 different Biju while maintaining a perfect Susanoo. Now, we're looking at something that can level mountains and create craters spanning several kilometers. When this thing hits, it reshapes the entire landscape. 6 paths. Ultra Big Ball Rasen Shuriken. This is Naruto's ultimate answer to Indra Arrow. Naruto, in full Kurama mode, creates shadow clones that merge into this 3-faced, 6-armed monster of chakra. One hand crafts a 6 paths Big Ball Rasen Shuriken, the other a tailed Beast Ball Rasen Shuriken. The sheer coordination required here is mind-blowing. We're talking about managing 2 world-ending techniques simultaneously while maintaining perfect chakra control. When it clashed with Sasuke's Indra's arrow, it literally reshaped the Valley of the End. That's geological reformation through pure ninja magic. Watching Indra's arrow collide with Naruto's tailed beast bomb was pure cinematic gold. The explosion literally shook the entire valley and symbolized everything their rivalry had built up to. It perfectly captured Sasuke at his absolute peak. Brilliant, powerful, and completely willing to risk everything for his convictions. That's the kind of jutsu that defines a character's legacy. Mugans Sukayyomi. This is psychological warfare taken to its absolute extreme, and honestly, it's more horrifying than any explosion could ever be. The mechanics are as brilliant as they are disturbing. Using the Rinne Sharingan, the user reflects light off the moon to cast a planet-wide genjutsu that instantly affects every living being. We're talking about a jutsu that requires the 10 tails chakra and connection to the god tree. Basically, you need to become a literal god to pull this off. What makes this technique absolutely terrifying isn't physical destruction. It's the complete elimination of free will on a global scale. Billions of people fall into eternal dreams while the god tree slowly drains their chakra until they die. It's genocide disguised as paradise. The range? The entire planet. The casualty count? Potentially every living soul, except those with special protection. The tactical implications are mind-boggling. This isn't about winning a battle. It's about ending the concept of conflict forever by making everyone unconscious. Madara genuinely believed this was mercy. giving people perfect dreams instead of harsh reality. That twisted logic makes it even more chilling. Alright, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.